talk a lot about indifference in here as sort of a, I don't know, as like a base sort of reaction to a lot of stuff. And I noticed that with my dog. If I want my dog to drop a ball, if I just ignore him for 5 seconds, the ball drops out, and then he looks at me because he knows, like, okay, can you pay some attention? Because I want you to throw this thing again. Boom, bend down, grab the ball, throw it again. Yeah. He comes back. He wants to fight for it. But if I ignore him, just look away for 3 seconds. Yeah. Ball gets dropped. Bend down, take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same barroom psychology. You know, why aren't you paying attention to me?
Yeah.
But you know, to bring it back to the dog aspect is that, you know, if think about it from more of almost a primal nature. Think about kids. When you watch kids, what's a very natural, when you bring several kids together, what do they do naturally? They chase each other. It's a natural function in animals on the planet. Dogs are no different. So if they have something, it's a game as much as anything. But you can turn it into something more serious as the dog gets older and they become more possessive and driven because you've built those barriers in their mind. But in terms of the indifference piece, 100%. The one of the first things I do with the Warrior Dog Foundation, the nonprofit that I have, that we retire, you know, former Spec Ops dogs and police dogs and contract working dogs and all sorts of different dogs. But the very first thing I do with all those dogs is I have a pouch of food. I have a clicker. And the clicker, just for those of you that, you know, so that you understand what I'm talking about, it's just a little mechanical device. It has a button on it. You push it and it goes, and it just makes a very mechanical sound that's unique, that pairs whatever the behavior is with a reward. It's a bridging of stimulus. So just think about it like taking a picture, you know, is that you're letting the dog know that the instant of what's taking place right this second is correct, and a reward is attached to that. But anyway, so I let them out of the gate, and I've got a 2.5 acre training field around my kennel facility, and so it's just me and the dog walking around with a pouch full of food and a clicker, and I completely ignore them. And I purposely walk away from him. And anytime that dog comes over to me, I mark it, reward it, turn around and walk away from him again. And I'll do that for 5 to 10 minutes, 3-4 times a day for a few days. And I mean, we've taken in over 80 dogs over the last 8 years, 7.5, 8 years. And to this day, there's not been a dog yet where that has not worked. And I've done it with a lot of other dogs too. But is that even if they hate people, you know, they're defensive, aggressive, they're environmentally rattled, they have PTS type issues, what have you, is that element of you getting paid and me shaping certain behaviors works on all of them. But it works the same way with people. You know, that's one of the things in terms of some of like the leadership stuff that you do is that operant conditioning, that positive reinforcement. You know, the 4 quadrants. While yes, I work primarily in the positive reinforcement realm, I do use positive punishment. I use negative reinforcement, negative punishment. But for the layman, think of it from, you know, if your spouse is out of town and you spend the weekend cleaning the entire house, right? It's spotless. You know, the kids are all in check. You know, the old lady comes home and the house is spotless. The very first thing that she recognizes is that the one thing you didn't do was take the trash out. And that's the first thing she's like, you didn't take the trash out? Like, oh, I guess I'll have to do that. You know, and that's her response. How likely are you to clean the house ever again? Very not likely.
Not likely.
Whereas, you know, on the transverse, if, you know, she grabs a hold of you and whatever, you know, or
gives you some positive reinforcement.
Gives you some positive reinforcement, maybe in another room, then you know that speaks for itself. You know, so it's that same element.
Start calling me Mr. Clean around here.
I might have to bick your head. Yeah, you'll be cleaning the house every weekend. You know, so it's a very simple element of. You know, one of the analogies you could use too is it's the difference between slave labor and a job with great benefits. You know, at the end of the day, a task is being performed. But one, you know, the level of drive, motivation, satisfaction, happiness on one end, they're two, you know, 180-degree bipolar or disparate opposites. So, you know, it's just basic reinforcement. But if you look at everything a dog does in that regard, in that, you know, every time that they do something that you want, it gets marked and reinforced. Every time that they do something you don't want, it gets extinguished and or corrected. It's very black and white. Another quick example is toys in the house. You know, people are like, oh, my dog's chewing this up, chewing that up. Do you keep toys in the house? Well, yeah, he's got Kongs and other balls and stuff. My rule of thumb and my advice to everybody is make it black and white in the dog's mind. Again, he doesn't know the difference between a tennis shoe, a stuffed animal, a Kong toy, whatever. It's all crap that's laying around your floor. Can you make them distinguish things? Yeah, but let's not put the cart before the horse. Like, teach him to respect what you say first, and so he doesn't get to play with anything in the house. If he knows that nothing gets in his mouth inside the house other than what I hand him, then it's real easy to teach him, don't chew on stuff. It's outside, it's in a crate, it's in a kennel. That's when I'll give you things to play with, to chew with, to tug with, whatever, and build that engagement, work on the bond and relationship, whatever. But